What's up, guys? Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our playoff quarterfinals team builder in red. Season 8 in the yellow division. We're taking on Vic and the Houndoom Hercules. We haven't played Vic since, I believe, the final week of red last season, where we did pick up a nice 1-0 win against him. Pushed us into a seed where we avoided Evan in the first round of playoffs last season, and then we made finals. So, this season, I ended up finishing in the 6th seed for playoffs, and Vic was in the 3rd seed. So, we were taking on the hardest matchup here, and it only gets harder from there. So, yeah, Vic has a really strong team, and let's run through what he's got. So, he's got the Megalodios, Superior, Necrozma, Z Manaphy, Z Talonflame, Conkeldurr, Blissey, Magnezone, Granbull, and Z Venipede. His priority options, he's got Conkeldurr with Mach Punch, Hazard Setters, he's got Necrozma and Blissey both with Rocks, and Venipede with Spikes and Toxic Spikes, but I can't confirm if Venipede has come to a single game for him, to be honest with you. I don't necessarily see him bringing it against me, even though my removal is really bad and I'm not bringing it, but who knows, you never know. Removal options-wise, on his side, he's got the Latios with Defog, the Superior with Defog, and the Talonflame with Defog. Rocks are pretty important against the Talonflame team. I'm actually not running Rocks at all, so screw that noise. 4 types of weaknesses, he's got the Rocks weak Talonflame, and the ground weakness on the Magnezone. I don't think I'm covering either of those this week. I could be wrong. I'm just opting for better coverage options against the squad. In terms of what I don't think is going to come, I don't necessarily think that Granbull is going to show up here. It could, but if it does, then there's a lot less... the team's a lot less scary. I don't think Venipede makes any sense at all to bring against me. It's honestly just straight up setup fodder for Reuniclus and whatever else. Even if it wants to set up spikes and whatnot, it's flat out setup fodder for a lot of Pokemon on my team. And so I just really don't see the Venipede coming. Granted, I said that week 1 and the Whirlipede ended up showing up, but you know, TB wanted to play with 5 Mons against me, and maybe so does Vic. Who knows? I think Vic's got a much better team and he can't put himself in that position. TB had a full 11 Mon roster that he could work with that with, but Vic has 10 like myself, so I'm not entirely sure about that. Latios, Superior, Necrozma, Manaphy, Talonflame, Conkeldurr is what I'm expecting-ish. Throw a Magnezone in there to trap Mega Aggron potentially. Maybe, probably not on that grounds, because he can't necessarily two-shot Mega Aggron with Magnezone without himself being Specs, and Earthquake will obliterate it from Mega Aggron. And then Blissey, I'm also kind of on the fence about against my team, because I have Keldeo, which will hit it on the physical side anyways, and Reuniclus, which is obviously running Psyshock against his team. There's not much that Blissey offers against me, in all honesty, so I'm really expecting the first 6 of his team to be the 6 that he's bringing, which is also really scary, because Talonflame is a gigantic threat against my team. So is the Manaphy, so is the Latios. Superior, maybe a little bit less so, but I am running both of my water types, so Superior is kind of a problem as well. If I was bringing Rotom-Mow, maybe it'd be less of a problem. And Necrozma, I just struggle heavily against Necrozma in the format, and I'm not entirely sure where it's going to go. I think the reason I struggle with it so heavily is that I'm not really used to using it myself, so I'm never sure what the most optimal set to bring against me is. And every once in a while, someone will bring a stored power set and just 6-0 me. So that's his team. Let's get into mine here. Clefable, I'm running a Spadef, Wish Protect, Encore, and Moonblast set, so this should be able to deal with any Calm Mind variant of Latios. In theory, I should be able to deal with Superior with this, because his Leaf Storm boost will be ignored by my Unaware. Obviously, I don't really want to get Moonblast drops on him, but you know, I'm Unaware, so as long as the Clefable is still taking it on, I can deal with that. Necrozma, I can Encore into any setup. Same with the Manaphy. It's all good and fine in terms of that's bigger problem for this set is going to be the Conkeldurr. So if I don't do enough damage with Moonblast, then I'm fucked. And so that is the Clefable, and that's pretty much all it's meant to do. Again, keep in mind that I am working with the assumption that he's bringing his first 6 Mons, and then I will discuss the other 4 Mons when it comes time to do that. Reuniclus is next. This is a gigantic problem for his team. Life Orb Trick Room with 3 attacks just blows through some stuff. I've got Focus Blast on there only for the Magnezone and the Blissey. I would never click it against anything else. Shadow Ball for the Lottie and the Necrozma. And Psyshock will hit the rest of the team extremely well. Should be able to blow through a lot of stuff with Life Orb boosted Psyshocks. And Trick Room kind of hampers the speed value of his team a lot. One thing I do have to be worried about is that setting up Trick Room for his own Conkeldurr could be quite problematic. He doesn't have a Dark type. I thought about running Mono Psyshock Reuniclus, but I didn't really need to be Acid Armor, so I would be like Calm Mind, double attacks with like Psyshock and Shadow Ball potentially. Sorry, dual attacks, dual stab. I may end up changing this set like really last minute to that right at the end. Not at the end of the team builder, but like maybe like super duper last minute right before the game. I might end up changing my mind and go to that sort of set. But I think this one puts on immediate pressure and doesn't require me to set up, which has kind of been a theme of my team throughout the season, is that I really need to set up to get going, and I don't have immediate chunking like I maybe would like to. Entei is potentially that immediate chunking as well with a bandit set here. Toxic for the Manaphy, mainly for the Manaphy, also for the Necrozma if it gets out of hand, for the Blissey potentially as well. Extreme speed for picking stuff off that's faster than me. Talonflame, Superior, Megalodios, Manaphy, potentially. Flare Blitz over Sacred Fire. The reason I'm not running Sacred Fire is because the Conkeldurr could have Guts. I would rather Toxic anything else rather than burn it. And he's got 2 Clerics anyways, so there's really no point in that. I'd rather just have the stronger move. And so while I may be taking recoil damage, it's going to do a shitload of damage to most of the things on his team. This is still a banded Entei running Flare Blitz there. And then I've also got the Return on the set just as a better neutral option to hit everything else. He doesn't have a Ghost type on the team, so he does no resist to this. If the Magnazone's gone, I may just like start off by clicking Banded Return because he does have the Manaphy and the Megalodios that potentially would want to switch into any fire attacks, mainly the Manaphy. But this does put a lot of offensive pressure on him against the slower Mons on his team, and potentially with enough chip can pick things off with extreme speed late game. I'm running a speed to speed tie, a modest Manaphy with this set, just because I figured I had to anyways. I have to run Adamant for extreme speed, so that's just what I'm going to roll with. Keldio's next. I'm running Specs Keldeo, so again, I have 3 breakers right here. Rather than going with an offensive, with a setup variant, I'm just rolling with breakers. Secret Sword for the Blissey and the Magnazone, although it's also going to hit the Manaphy and the Superior extremely hard. Should be able to hit anything else if I need it to, but in most cases I would click Surf against the rest of the options, and then Icy Wind for the Latios. Just get a little bit of speed control would be really nice. Icy Wind is obviously not going to work very well against the Superior, and in fact I would give it a speed boost, so I'd much rather click Secret Sword if that's going to switch in. And I've got Toxic there as well for the same reasons that I do for everything else, mainly for the Necrozma in this case, because Necrozma is such a bitch for me to deal with. I like just spamming Toxic against that stuff. I'm running enough speed to outspeed the Manaphy with this. Max special attack, a little bit of HP. Persian's next. I'm running a Black Glasses set with U-Turn, Parting Shot, Taunt, and Punishment. So, Punishment is designed to deal with any of his setup threats and punish them. In theory, the Necrozma, if it's a setup Necrozma, shouldn't be able to get 2 out of hand with Punishment on my side of the field. I've got U-Turn there, which will be my basic click unless I don't see the Superior. I would much rather Parting Shot his entire team, but I'm not about to give the Superior boosts, which is why I'm running U-Turn. I've also got Taunt there to shut down any sort of setup threats. I'm faster than all of his setup threats except for Talonflame, so that's what I got going on there. And then I'm Black Glasses to boost the power of Punishment. If you don't know how Punishment works, it's 60 base power plus 20 for each of the target's stat boosts. So if the Superior gets out of control, I can punish it for a lot of damage. Punishment also will work against the Necrozma. I haven't run this at all this season, so I don't think he's going to expect it. I'm also not sure his familiarity with Alolan Persian. I know Vic's very one-dimensional in terms of what he drafts. I'm not entirely sure what his experience level is in the grand scheme of things in terms of Gen 7 leagues. Persian's running enough speed on here for the Superior, and then I'm running max HP because I'm obviously still Fur Coat, so I can take on a physical Megalodios. Any sort of Dragon Dance Megalodios variant still gets punished by this really hard, and like a physical Necrozma I can handle with this. It basically stops the Necrozma from clicking Stored Power or Photon Geyser as well, which is really nice. And then I have Suicune last, which is another deterrent to his setup spam, and it's probably my main way to deal with Talonflame, although I'd much rather have Protect on this set. I can't afford to run it. I probably could afford to run it over Substitute, now that I'm looking at it. We'll just throw Protect on that set over Substitute there. So I'm running Roar, Protect, Toxic, and Surf. I don't want Scald because, again, like I mentioned with Sacred Fire earlier, I don't want to be burning these things. I want to Toxic spam the team, which is why I have Toxic on 3 different Pokemon. I don't have it on this. No, 3 different Pokemon. I have Toxicon. I'm also running dual pressure stallers, which is the same kind of strategy that I was running against David. Surf's obviously going to be a problem for a lot of stuff. If he's got sub Megalodios, I don't give a fuck. I've got Roar, so I have some phasing for that kind of shit. Same with any form of Z Manaphy, like Z Rain Dance Manaphy could be really annoying once it gets a tail glow up. I'm running a lot of bulk, so hopefully I can eat an energy ball. A lot of bulk on the special side, I should mention, sorry, because his physical threats are a problem, but I am running enough bulk to be able to deal with energy ball, Manaphy, and whatnot. Yeah, and that's sort of just the idea behind Suicune, is that it's just phasing things in and out. Again, Magnezone is kind of a problem for this team, actually, but I don't necessarily see Magnezone coming all that much with a Garchomp on my team, a Rotom-Mow on my team, and him not being able to kill Mega Aggron after trapping me, so I'm not entirely sure what his stand would be there. I think Kinkeldurr is going to come for sure, and Kinkeldurr would be a problem with or without the change, with or without the Pokemon on my team. He's definitely going to have Ice Punch on it, which is going to be 100% a wasted move because I'm not bringing Garchomp, and he's never going to Ice Punch against any of the mons that I'm bringing here. He may have Mach Punch, maybe. I'm not entirely sure if he would actually need Mach Punch or not against my team, so he might not have that. He'll probably have Drain Punch. So I think he'll have like Knockoff, Drain Punch, Poison Jab, and Ice Punch. I think would be his main Kinkeldurr set. And I'm iffy on whether or not he would be like Iron Fist AV or if he would be Flame Orb Guts, because he could also be a Flame Orb Guts Facade set, and that would be able to break things like Suicune really easily. Yeah, so Kinkeldurr's like a gigantic problem, but I'm kind of hoping I can deal with it in some way. You know, if I have to give up the Black Glasses on Persian and then Parting Shot out of there into like Suicune or something, then maybe that's all right. I could be able to Parting Shot into Clefable, but I think if Kinkeldurr sticks around for a while, it's going to be a gigantic problem for me, and everything else shouldn't be that big of an issue if it sticks around for that long. I'm reasonably confident in this matchup. Not 100% confident that I'm going to win outright, but it could end well for me as well. I think I've built a solid enough team. Again, I may or may not change that Reuniclus set to a very physically defensive set with Calm Mind, just because that might be able to handle the Kinkeldurr a little bit more. I could potentially roll with a Colberberry set and then just start setting up once his knockoffs are unboosted and whatnot. That's definitely a viable option for me, is running that sort of Reuniclus set with just replacing, essentially, let's go over it, replacing Trick Room and Focus Blast with Calm Mind and Recover, essentially, is what it would be. And replacing Life Orb with a different item. It might be nice, you know what, I'm actually just going to roll with it. I'm actually just going to roll with it, and I'll run Colbur. I'm actually just going to roll with it, and we'll move all of this into defense. You know what? This set is going to work a little bit better against his team, just because I can't handle the physical aspect of his team all that much. And so it'll at least be able to kind of set up on the Kinkeldurr and function as a switch into the Kinkeldurr as well. So I'm going to appreciate that set. So that's going to be it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I play Vic tomorrow, but you guys will see it go up a long time from now. I'm planning on having these red videos go up about now-ish, like next week potentially, in real time, which is May the 4th, and you guys probably won't see this until like August or September, just based on releasing like one match a week. But yeah, that's gonna be for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this team builder, and I'll catch you guys for the quarterfinals match.